HVDC inverters into operation, so that we will have a 10 HVDC receiving and fit it into only 200 kilometer square area in Guangdong, which is really dense. As we know that LCC inverters may have the commutation failure. So if this inverter is really close to each other, so there is a AC fault like happens near these inverters, it may cause a commutation failure. And if there is a lot of inverters really close, so they may have they may have the continuous commutation failure and even have some results in the HVDC block. So this when we do the planning for the Wudongde HVDC, so we consider that if we use LCC HVDC, that will that will raise a lot of problems. So after we consider about this, we will redo our planning. So first one is that based on our practical experience, the criteria to decide whether the commutation failure happens after AC short circuit fault is shown like in these figures. We can see that if the AC fault leads to the converter AC buses voltage drop below 0.92, the commutation failure will happen. But the commutation failure will happen, and if the voltage during the fault is below 0.7, the DC power will even drop to 0. If the AC fault results the voltage is dropped to like not less than 0.92, so there is no commutation failure. So that's all the 9 HVDC converters in Guangdong are LCC HVDC. So therefore there may exist that AC system fault will lead to multi HVDC simultaneously commutation failure. And also for the LCC recover, it will cause to these inverters to absorb a lot of reactive power from the AC system. So it may lead to the system voltage instability. So when we design this, we find that this is really a challenge for us if we continue to use this LCC technique. And for this, for next one, so when we do our research, we according to the secret working group achievement, that for single HVDC system and the SCR and ESCR is an index to evaluate AC system strength. But for the multi-inflated system, the MIESCR is used for this for us to determine the system strength. Sorry, there's a screen is shows on my sorry to interrupt. Their screen continues to show my computer to sorry to remind me that I need a rest. Sorry. Okay. And with the number of HVDC increase from 5 to 9, we can see that we check the MIESCR. It shows that it will decrease like 30% from 3.41 to 2.39. So during that time, CSG, China Southern Power Grid, already recognize this problem. So we have installed like 4 units of the 200 STCOM to enhance our voltage support capability. But right now, if we jump to the 2018, we found that the minimum MIESCR will continue to drop. So right now it's really dangerous for us to do the tens the tens inverters use the LCC because it's really the system strength is really low, so we cannot use it anymore. And for another one, it shows here that the main difference between the LCC HVDC and the VSC HVDC. It shows that the LCC HVDC has a threshold valve, and VSC has no requirement, and the commutation failure is for LCC is yes, for the VSC we don't have the commutation failure, and for the LCC we requires a reactive power compensation, but for the VSC it could supply the reactive power during the fault. It is really helpful for the system like Guangdong province because it already have a lot of LCC. It needs a bunch of reactive power to uh, to do the voltage recovery after the fault. So after this, we do another analysis. We do another analysis like this. For the 10th HVDC Wudong, if we apply LCC, the MIESCR will decrease to 2.12. This is really dangerous. If we apply VSC, the MIESCR will not decrease, and also it could provide some voltage support capability. So it is really helpful for our system. And the next lecture, we can check that this two figures shows how if we apply the VSC HVDC, our system stability will how our system stability will improve. And for the first one, we can see that if we use a LCC HVDC, this is a Guangdong province figure, we can check that for the red region, if there is a AC fault within the red region, it will cause like 9 HVDC and 9 LCC HVDC commutation failure. It is really dangerous for our system. And we can check that some key substation voltage, it can see that the voltage cannot be recovered. But for the second page, we can see that if we use a VSC HVDC, we can check the region will be decreased. And for the key substation, we can see that voltage can be recovered as our design. So after we do this study and do some calculation, we decided to adopt VSing as a receiving end for the 10th HVDC. And we want to try this technology and want to check if we can get a new path to solve the problem completely. So that's why we use this technique for our 10 HVDC, and finally we already achieved and implemented this HVDC, and it works well. The next one I want to talk about our next typical project is called Yunnan and Guizhou multi-terminal HVDC. This project is interesting because for the blue line, it's an existing project, HVDC project, and it's put into operation in like 2004. So like 20 years later, we want to upgrade it. So we want to try a new method if next time we have a lot of HVDC that because of their working timelines, maybe we can have some new approaches to reuse their equipment for our systems. So for this project, we built a new LCC converter station in Yunnan and connecting some new some hydropower plants, and also we expand the 2 terminals HVDC to 3 terminals, and also we upgraded some control and protection systems. And the next one we can check that, but this is a 3 terminal HVDC, so the main challenges for us is we have a bunch of operation modes, and I will give some example for you. The first this page shows that we have two typical operation mode for the 2 terminals. The one is from Guizhou to Guangdong, and the second one shows the figure here is from Yunnan to Guangdong. The first one is Guizhou to Guangdong. We can use to send in the thermal power from Guizhou to Guangdong, and its mailing can be happened in the dry season, like low water level period, like the dry season. And for the second one is we can see that we can this is operation mode from Yunnan to Guangdong. We can send in some Yunnan hydropower in like the blood level period, or we can say like the high level period. So this is depend on the resources. The next one is 3 terminals operation mode. So we can see the first one, we can check the first one, we can use between these 2 seasons, like both Yunnan and Guizhou can send the power to Guangdong. And also another one is that if there is a power insufficient in Guizhou, we can send some clean power to Guizhou, like using uh, another operation mode. And for this project, we also do some future development uh, overview for this. We consider that maybe next time we could expand it to 4 terminals. So this is just our imagination, not maybe 4 terminals in future that connect some more hydropower from Yunnan or Tibet. And for now, I want to talk about our operation risk in AC and DC HVDC system. So as we know before 2015, you can see that we have a bunch of HVDC and HVDC connect parallel in our system. So it may have some risk for our power system operation, because first time is that if there is a HVDC block and a bunch of power will go through the AC lines, and it will cause like the sending ends, the rotor angle will increase, but for the decreasing end, the rotor angle, the rotor may be decelerate, the sending end, the rotor accelerate, so it may cause the rotor angle issues. So therefore, if we want to deal with, we design stability, design some uh, measures like called the special protection schemes, meaning the generator tripping and load shedding to control our system. But it may increase the complexity of control schemes and also increasing the number of control units I will talk about later. And for this one, if before we get Wudong edge with DC units, we already have 9 converters fitted into Guangdong, like in 200 square kilometers. So if there is a AC fault occurs at the receiving end, it may cause like multi-HVDC commutation failure. So when the fault clearing time is long, it will lead to HVDC continuous commutation failure and even block. So it's then maybe there's a bunch of power transfer from the HVDC to HVAC, right? Because Guangdong province still needs a lot of power, and also the sending end, they still have a bunch of power supply, but they cannot transfer the power from DC. They will need to transfer power from AC. So it will increase the rotor angle, and also the voltage stability problems. And also another issue for China Southern Power Grid is the low frequency oscillation. Like in 2015, we still have some HVDC lines between Yunnan and also from Guizhou. So we have some, but these lines compared to the whole system is it's not strong. It's like weak interconnection. So it may cause inter-area oscillation. So it shows that this slide shows that we already checked some typical inter-area oscillation mode for our system, and this figure shows real the real accident that we already observed for our system. We can say the first one is power flows for the Luobai and Luoma HVDC lines. It shows that there is a power oscillation, but it's oscillation like the inter area oscillation, not the inner. For the second one, it's called the first one is inter-area of oscillation from the Yunnan and the rest, but there's no apparent for the inner. And the second one is really interesting. It's from the inner area oscillation. Like there is a generator oscillates within the Yunnan power grid, but then it shows that it spreads accident to its it leads to our whole system instability oscillation. So if we want to deal with these problems, we do design some we do design some countermeasures. We call this three defense line. And the first one is that monopolar block. It need to be stable without special controls. It is our planning. It is also our restriction for the planning. It's called if we do this single monopolar block, we need our system stable without any special control. This is our standard that we need to follow for our planning. And the second level is bipolar block. So if this happens, we will have some we have some generator tripping or something else that it need to make system happen and make system stable. And the third one is that if there is an inadequate remedying action after bipolar block due to some SPS failure or two or more pole of multi-HVDC action after out-of-stepping, we need a third defined line. Because the third defined line is when we want to avoid the system collapse. And the third defined defense line is rarely verified by field experiments, possibly causing a massive load loss even after correct actions. So it's need a compensation solution considering backbone structure. So as well as I said before, the third defense line, we do not want to trigger it, and but we design it because we don't want to the risk happen, because if the risk happens, it will lead a lot of power loss or the economic loss. And this is second defense line details. We can check that we have some master stations that receiving some orders for the general. At the standing end, we have the for the tripping, for the generator tripping, and for the receiving end, we also have some stability control substation that for the load sheddings. And because if we want this stability control system doing well, so we want that the execution time need to be the execution time need to be really small, and also we want the correct operation. So this we can check that this is really, if we do this, it's really complicated for us. And also this is the second defense systems. We can check there's a there's a figure that you can check. This is only for one HVDC. Is really complicated. So like we have the two stability control master stations, two generator tripping substations, 10 stability control substation, and 31 load shedding, and 51 in total. This is only for one HVDC, so this is really complicated. So when we do this study, we think that, oh no, we cannot continue to do this because this will really make us system really complicated. And for this one, I just want to show that there's some uh, for this one, I want to show some countermeasures that we do for our to deal with the operation of AC and DC system. The first one is the ice landing operation, because we have a bunch of HVDCs that connect to the Yunnan province, the Sanyuan system, and also, but the connection is really like really weak. And we also connect to some, we mainly connect to some hydro plants. So we think that for this one, if we do some landing operation, if the HVDC system blocks, we only need the generator tripping for the sending end, so it may help us system doing well. So we do this one, and it shows some figures for this, for how we do the ice landing operation. It looks like we will do some switch adjustment so that we can have all the generators. We can have the HVDC, the sending end is all the hydro power plants, all the other plants that it will not directly connect to the whole system of the sending end. And this I think we already showed before that we mainly face a problem that in 2015, because there's a lot of AC and a lot of DC operating in parallel. So if one is blocked, and another all the power will transfer to the AC lines. So we do a system design, and we check how about we use the back-to-back back-to-back HVDC, VSC HVDC to separate the sending end and with the rest of the CSG problem, with the rest of the CSG systems, because as we said before, if we get the AC and DC parallel operations, if the AC HVDC system blocks, it will transfer to AC system. But if we get a asynchronous interconnection, it can, as with the DC block, it will not transfer any power to the AC system. So we think that the instability risk will changing. And for this one, we can check this one. So if we do some